This is the Harry Loomis Show. Welcome back to the Harry Loomis Show. This is my second video of the day. And like I said, we're just going to be looking at how I see the lineup looking and projections for most of the players I have on the offensive side. So we're kind of just going to jump right into it. First line, like I talked about, I think is going to be Pavel Buchnevich, Robert Thomas, Jimmy Snuggerud to start the season. For Buchnevich, like I said, I think you're going to get a mix of what he did the first two seasons he was in St. Louis and the last two seasons. I have him right around 20 goals, 40 assists, and 60 points. I'm looking mostly at round numbers. These aren't dead on projections. There's no chance all of these guys are going to have point totals that are multiples of 5, but like round numbers just kind of show where I expect the player to be. Buchnevich, I only have him at 20 goals. I think that would probably be a low in St. Louis. I don't have that in front of me right now. But I think that's fine with Buchnevich. He's okay being a facilitator. He doesn't need to be the top goal scorer, especially with Robert Thomas, who's got an underrated shot, and Jimmy Snuggerud, who's a bona fide sniper. He's okay distributing on the power play as well. He will shoot when he's open. He can bang for rebounds. He can deflect and everything like that. But I think this would be a perfectly solid stat line for him. Robert Thomas, I think this is going to be the year he breaks 90 points. He played at about a 94-point pace last year. I have him at 28 goals, which would be a career high, 62 assists, which would be about where he's been at the last 2 years, dead on 90 points. I really think Robert Thomas has 30-goal upside. If he chooses to shoot more, he, again, with Buchnevich, is okay passing the puck. He's a great passer. Make no mistake about it. The best the Blues have by a mile. But he can shoot that thing. He loves to go top left corner, and he's got an underrated wrist shot when he chooses to use it. But 28, 62, and 90 would be a perfectly great line for Robert Thomas, and I think he's perfectly capable of that as well. Jimmy Snuggerud, he's going to be a goal scorer this year. I have him right at 20, 25, and 45. He's going to get plenty of opportunities. We saw on the rush, on the power play as a sniper option, crashing the net. He's not afraid to make things happen. He has a shoot first mentality, which is great to see. He knows how to find open space as well to get good looking shots off. And this is going to be a learning curve year for him, but I'm really excited to see what Snuggerud can do. And then on the second line, I'm projecting Schenn as the second line center right now. Very good chance it changes. But Dylan Holloway is going to be on the left side, and he's going to have a big year. I've got him at 30 goals, 40 assists, 70 points. And by the way, this is all 82-game rates. Good chance, very few, if not none of these guys play a full 82. But this is what I think they're going to be, the rate they're going to be performing at. Holloway had a great year last year before the injury. I think he ended up with about 63 points, and he missed the final, 6 games of the season. Really, really encouraging stuff from number 81, and he's only going to get better. I don't know when that contract's coming, his extension, but it's going to be a big number, and he's going to be worth every single penny. He's only going to get better. Brayden Schenn, I'm a little conservative with him. I think he could reach 50 points, but right now I have him at 15 goals, 30 assists, 45 points. He's the captain, middle six center role. He's going to be a little bit more responsible. He'll, like a Buchnevich, he'll shoot when he needs to. He had a couple great shots, a couple goals in overtime, just coming up the left side, firing a far corner. He's still got a very good shot, but he doesn't need to use it quite as much, especially when he's got skilled wingers, and it's hard to find more skill than 81 to 25. Jordan Kyrou, last year was probably the best all-around season of his career. I think he's going to be right around that again. I've got him at 35 goals, which would lead the team, and 40 assists for 75 points. No reason to believe Kyrou can't get back to that point per game rate, especially if Dylan Holloway is going to be a 30-goal scorer. Kyrou is a good distributor of the puck, but he has a shoot-first mindset, which is not a bad thing to have. Third line, Jake Neighbors is going to be that third-line left winger to start. And it's not going to be the same role he's had the last 2 years where he's broken out for 20-plus goals both years. 23-24 is obviously a huge breakout with 27 goals. He's not going to get that many opportunities, but he's a better player now, and he's a better playmaker now, which is the big thing. I've got him right at 25, 25, and 50. He's going to get good power play opportunities. He loves going to the net. He's got a better wrist shot than we give him credit for, we think of him as just banging the net, getting those dirty goals, redirects, and things like that. But the kid can shoot the puck. He's got a really, really good wrist shot on him, and he's not afraid to use it as well. I think it's really good to have some shoot first kind of guys on every single one of these lines. That's something the Blues have struggled with, especially in the bottom six. And Neighbors just adds a lot of depth there. Pius Suter, I have at 20, 20, and 40, another very all around guy. That would be pretty on par with what he's done the last couple of years in Vancouver. Obviously, last year was a bit of a step up for him with 25 goals. I don't think he needs to be that for the Blues to be successful, especially since he's going to be playing center. He played a lot of left wing for the Canucks last year. Um, you know, I watched Moneyball last night. They talked about replacing Giambi, Damon, and Isringhausen in the aggregate. You're losing Zach Bolduc, who had 19 goals last year. Replacing him in the aggregate. Snuggerud, 20 goals. Suter, 20 goals, same line. I think you're going to be just fine. I think the Blues still net gained, even though I love Zach Bolduc's game. The Blues net gained this offseason. Third line right winger, we talked about in the last video. Who the hell knows what's going to be going on with that position? I looking at these projections, I looked at that position as a whole. I think it's going to be one of Texier, Joseph, Dvorsky, Sundqvist, and Milan Lucic playing the lion's share of those games. And as a collective group, I think that position will contribute for 15 goals, 15 assists, and 30 points. Really hard to gauge what that position is going to be when you don't know who it's going to be playing it. But with Suter and Neighbors, I think whoever's going to be there will contribute a fairly decent amount. And, if you combine Sundqvist with maybe a Texier and a Dvorsky, all three of their play styles, their shooting ability, Texier and Dvorsky in particular can really shoot the puck. Sundqvist goes to the net and everything like that. I think 15, 15, and 30 is pretty reasonable to expect. And then on the fourth line, Alexei Toropchenko. He had a down year offensively last year. I have him at 10, 15, and 25 points. Toropchenko feels like a guy like an Ivan Barbashev to where he could really blossom if he's given a top six opportunity, but he's still a really, really solid fourth liner, gives you everything you need. He's really tall. He's got good speed for a fourth liner, and he's got good skill. You've seen him just walk the defense a couple times and score really pretty goals. He's got that in his repertoire, and I wouldn't be surprised if kind of things go bad for the Blues for a little bit, if Toropchenko is looked at maybe as getting a second line role. And who knows what he could do with it. Maybe get some power play time. He's got good offensive instincts, so I wouldn't be surprised and would love to see it, honestly. Toropchenko's done a really good job playing a more responsible game the last couple of years. Nick Bjugstad, he scored 20 goals before. I don't think he will, and I don't think he needs to for the Blues as a fourth line center. I've got him at 12, 18, and 30 points. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get those power play minutes on the second unit that Oscar Sundqvist got, just being a net front guy. He's really tall, 6'6", I think. And like I said, he scored 20 goals in the past. He knows how to capitalize. Really low risk, high reward move for Bjugstad. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him get some third line right wing time as well. Maybe move Sundqvist to fourth line center. I think those two are interchangeable. I think to start, though, it's going to be Bjugstad's spot. And then Nathan Walker, the man who just got extended. We're going to see more of the same of him. His role is solidified now. He came into last season as the fourth line left winger, but really had to earn that permanent spot. He's earned it now. That's his to lose. 10, 15, and 25. Same with Alexei Toropchenko. We talked about in the last video. He scores in bunches. Spark plug guy. 10, 15, 25 seems perfectly appropriate for him. And now let's move on to the blue line. First pair is going to be the same, Cam Fowler and Colton Parayko. Fowler, when he came in, was spectacular. He played at about a 51-point pace with the Blues. I don't think he's going to quite do that, but he doesn't need to. Again, I've got him at 10 goals, 35 assists for 45 points. He's going to be quarterbacking that first-line power play for the most part this season until a guy like Broberg or maybe a Mayu takes that from him. And I think this year that's his to lose. Great facilitator, knows how to jump in the play when the time calls for it. It's hard to find better than what Cam Fowler did last year. Colton Parayko, speaking of guys who did great last year, Parayko had the best offensive season of his career. He's not going to be a 15, 16 goal guy every year. I think more realistically, 12, 28, and 40 is perfectly solid for him. 40 would be pretty high for him in terms of points, but he's got a great partner in Fowler. He's still got that booming slap shot, and he seems more confident the last couple of years to let it rip more. We saw for a while he seemed like he was just a little bit hesitant, had those back issues, especially after Alex Pietrangelo left. We're seeing the best version of Colton Parayko the last couple of years, and there's no reason to suggest that it won't continue into this year. That knee scope was a little bit concerning for a minute, but he seems to be A-okay, and he's got a full offseason to recover. Big things expected at a Colt 55. I hope he finally gets Vezina votes this year. Second pair, Philip Broberg. If he stays healthy, obviously this is 82 game rates. I've got him at 11 goals, 34 assists for 45 points. I expect him to take his pairmate Justin Falk's power play time on the second pair at some point in the season. He's got really good offensive instincts. He can skate like the wind. Another guy like Fowler, we've seen him jump up in the play. He scored a breakaway. I think against the Capitals. I think he went to the backhand and scored it. That's just something he can do. He won't have to do it a lot, but he's got that in his bag. Same with Holloway. He's going to get a contract very soon that's going to age really well for the Blues. Justin Falk, we're kind of seeing the end of his peak days. We might already be past it. He's not much of a goal scorer anymore. I've got him at 5 goals, 25 assists for 30 points. He can still jump up in the offense occasionally. I wouldn't be surprised to see him start the season at least as the second unit power play quarterback, although I think that might be a temporary thing at this point. Not much more to say with Falk. We know what he is. We know what he can be, but we don't know what he's going to be going forward. Still some good moments. Had a goal in the playoffs. Those two power play units did look pretty good towards the end of the season. So we'll see what Falk can do. Now for the third pair, Tyler Tucker, I think is going to get just about everyday minutes on that third pair. He's not much of an offensive guy. He's more of a shutdown, stay-at-home, physical third pair defenseman, so I think he's great for this role. I've got him at 3 goals, 12 assists for 15 points. And I'd be perfectly happy with that from Tucker. He had an injury last year in the playoffs, which sucked to see because he was really coming into his own as the season progressed. I want to see him start the season better because he had a really rough training camp. He had some pretty bad moments in preseason, I remember. So I hope he just starts the season on time and then just continues to progress because he's always been a guy that gets better as the season goes along. He's still young. He's still impressionable. I like where the Blues are at with Tyler Tucker on the third pair. And then Logan Mailloux. I think he's going to get pretty much everyday minutes. He's only played 8 NHL games. I think he has 5 points. He's not going to keep that rate up, obviously, but I think 10 goals, 15 assists for 25 points is doable for Mailloux. Depending on how things go, another guy I could see getting power play time. We talked about his offensive ability. But I don't think the offense is the biggest goal for Mailloux. I think he needs to show that he's more of a well-rounded two-way defenseman. Montgomery loves offense, but he also needs his defenseman to clear the puck out. Empty net defense obviously was a problem last year. He's a big guy. He needs to show that he can be trusted in those situations. But he knows what he's good at, and I think he's going to keep being a good offensive contributor. And then for the goalies, I've got Joel Hofer and Jordan Binnington combined. 9-10 save percentage is my goal. We've seen them 23-24. They were both very, very good. They put up a 9-13, which was very admirable considering where the Blues goaltending had been at the last couple of years. The offense just wasn't good enough. That team was not good enough to be the first one out of the playoffs in the Western Conference, but that's what good goaltending can do. Last year took a step back, combined 902 save percentage. I think Binnington was a 900, Hofer a 904, but the team was simply better. And this team is even better than that one. If Hofer and Binnington combined for a 902 again, the Blues should be in the playoffs. If they're a 910, they will be one of the top 3 teams in the Central. There is a lot to like with this team as it's currently constructed. They just got to do their part. So that's what I'm looking. That's how these lines are looking for me. I'm really excited for training camp. I'm going to watch pretty much every preseason game I can. Like I said, I'll be at the game on Sunday against the Columbus Blue Jackets. I'll be writing down some thoughts and everything like that. We'll see what happens with this team. I'm also doing division previews on my website, loomislee.com. I just released my Central Division rankings today. Pacific will be out soon. Metropolitan will be out soon. Atlantic will be out soon. So stay tuned for that. I'll leave a link in the description for the Central video. But it's a really exciting time if you're a fan of the NHL, if you're a fan of the St. Louis Blues. I'm really going to push to make more content this year. I kind of fell off at the end of the year, so this is my challenge to upload more and more. I really want to get into more blues content. This is my favorite thing to do by a mile. So if you guys want to join along for the ride, please hit subscribe. I love talking hockey, and I want to talk some more with you guys. So thank you for watching. We'll see you again soon. This is the Harry Loomis Show.